That's a live look inside the Fargo Dome, getting ready for semifinal Friday. 1 o'clock for the girls' semis on WDAY. The boys will tip off at 6:30. The first matchup is West Fargo and Fargo Davies. That'll be followed by Bismarck Century and Mandan to wrap up. You'll see all those games coming up later today on WDAY. Super pumped to have our next guest who I could give him any basketball venue. He could tell me exactly where he was, when he was, for anywhere in the state of North Dakota. It's great to have Bart Manson back with us, Fargo Davies boys basketball head coach, after the Eagles survived yesterday to get a shot to play West Fargo in the semifinals. It's been a little bit since you've been in the Dome. What do you tell your guys about what to experience, what's coming up later tonight?
Well, it's obviously a different venue, that we've been playing in the Shack here the last weekend and then, obviously our first round game. And so we played here, I think 2 years ago. We had one game here. And then we moved over to the Shack after that.
Right.
So, they've made some updates. It looks like a really nice floor. We get to shoot around here at 11. So it'll be nice to get out there and kind of feel the floor out and, check out the surroundings and stuff. But, I think I've told you this before. I really like the one court setup that the Fargo Dome sets up.
Yep.
I think it's a really nice venue. And so hopefully the crowds will show up to even make it a little bit more special.
Tell me, you knew it was going to be a battle yesterday to play out exactly like you thought against Bismarck?
Yeah. I would tell you that, anytime you're playing a team like Bismarck that, they run a system at you that you're not used to. We don't play against that system all year, and I heard Jordan on yours too and talk about, we play a different system this year too, and so it was a contrast of styles and, and not that we can't go up and down and make some plays like that too, but we don't like to do that. And so they get you really to play a tempo that they want to play. And I just thought, after we settled in, we took, really good care of the basketball in all those pressure situations. But the difficult spot is that sometimes when that pressure gets done is to try to get into offense.
Yeah.
So it took us a little bit of time to get used to that. And then once we settled in, we made some shots yesterday, which was crucial. And then defensively in the first half, we were really good. And we ended up with a 12-point lead and just kind of hung on from there.
Everybody, Bart, is going to look at your main guy. Your supporting cast was really good yesterday. In a 3-day event like this, how much do you need those guys to be huge for you to win a tournament?
Oh, that's what you need at this time of year. We call them our unsung heroes, that kind of the guys that, need to step up and make the plays at this time of year that nobody really expected. And we've had a lot of guys in our programs that have done that over the years that keep advancing us. And we're going to need that again tonight.
It's West Fargo. There's no secrets between the two. Describe are they different from when you saw them about a month ago?
Well, they're obviously, playing good basketball right now at this time of year. They're peaking at the right time. This is how I expected them to play all year, to be honest with you. I thought that they didn't, maybe weren't clicking earlier in the year and stuff like that. And, we're struggling through some moments. And I think they had a few injuries also, to their team. But this is the team that I thought would be here all year. And so for me to see them in the spot that they're at is, expected for me. I picked them too at the beginning of the year. And so, this is where I thought they would be, 1 or 2, and here they are. So
playing a team a fourth time, Bart, is that a good thing, bad thing, or no thing? There's no secrets right now.
There is not. It's about just going out and who's going to execute a little bbit better. And obviously the ball's got to go through the hole. Last Thursday when we played, West Fargo, I think it was an ugly game to ref for the refs because it was, it was 64-56. I know they beat us, but nobody really shot the ball extremely well. And so now it's a bunch of physical play. And so obviously we're going to need the ball to go in the hole tonight to, if we're going to beat West Fargo.
To see Mason Clayball and how he's performing, I'm going to get to the record here in a second. I think everybody just is curious. They see the brace on him. How close to 100% is he right now out there playing?
Well, he's 100%, but the brace, restricts some of the things that he would like to do as far as being a little bit more explosive and stuff like that. But Mason's good to go. He is excited for tonight. And, in his own hometown, playing in the semifinals. This is where we wanted to be, and so here we go.
To have him healthy, or at least be available, you have not had that luxury the last couple of years. What does that do for you as a head coach to know you've got him out
Well,
there?
yeah, I would tell you, in 2022, if I am getting that right, when Mason was a sophomore, that was our probably our best team.
Mm.
Like we almost got out of the semifinals. We beat Fargo North, and we had lost Max Frosley, who's now coaching for me
Yeah.
for an ACL. And went on to play at Mary. Okay, and Mason also was sitting out, and we still almost got into that championship game without those two. If those two would have played, there's no doubt in my mind that we were the best team in the state that year.
To think of now having him available, what does that do as a head coach? Is that like, all right? I know there's I can count on this many points tonight. Can you do that or no?
I mean, you can, but these are just like I told you. Obviously, we need Mason to score for us to be successful, but we also need some other guys to do this too. And so it's going to be a collective effort tonight if we're going to advance and play in a state title game. And obviously, Mason's got to do what Mason does for us, but we're going to need some other guys to step up tonight too.
So was it preposterous of me to think that Anand Moody's record was going to last for a bit? That it only lasted for 8 years? And you know it. I mean, you've been around the game forever. Are you surprised or no?
Nah, not at all.
Mm.
When I saw this kid play as an eighth grader, and here's the thing: is like that record is close because Mason's missed some games.
That's true. Yeah.
So this record, we would be talking about right now a 3,000-point score.
Wow.
And so, I mean, do I ever think that we will see? I'm never going to say never, but for as a freshman to a sophomore to a junior and to a senior year to average and how he scores, in my mind, he's the most prolific scorer that this state has ever seen. And obviously, it's going to take someone really, really special to do it. Remember, Dom, he's missed 23 games and he has the record.
Man, I remember you talking to me about him as an eighth grader when he got in the state tournament. And this is now 4 years ago. And he was handling himself fine out there. Was that right away? You knew, like, okay, he's going to be fine. We can put whatever on his shoulders. He's going to be all right.
Well, I'll tell you guys a quick story about how this all unfolded as an eighth grader. Is that Mason was we knew the middle school that year he was an eighth grader. They weren't going to play games because we were in COVID kind of protocol.
Yeah.
So they were just going to practice. Okay. And so we were like, you know what? I've never had an eighth grader come up, but why don't you just come up and we'll treat it like a red shirt year? You just practice every day with us and stuff like that. So he just started coming to open gyms, and we were like just a few open gyms in, we're like, nah, we're going to do the exceptional athlete because this kid's pretty exceptional. And so it was very quick for us to see that, Mason had no fear.
No.
And sometimes when you get these younger kids, they're scared and all that. And Mason never had that. He went out and he always knew that he was the best player on the floor. And, and he still believes that even today. Every venue that he steps in, he believes he's the best player on the floor.
What do you think of his prospects at the next level, Bart? How does that translate to Illinois State next year?
Well, I think he's going to be a great player in that league. I think Mason could have, been a great player in any league that he wanted to go play in. The kid's determination, his Dom, you know what the biggest attribute to Mason is this year? Everybody sees what, on the court and all that, but behind the scenes, his knowledge of the game is extremely high. And and you can't take what he knows as knowledge to a lot of other high school kids who just go out and play. He sees things and he talks about things that other people would never even bring up. And so we're not only going to lose a player, but we're going to lose a coach next year too on our staff. So it's definitely going to be very difficult to replace.
You are still one of the old hangers-on of still wearing a full suit and tie. After COVID, everybody's wearing, zip-ups and warm-up pants. You're still wearing the suit and tie. What's the deal?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal is that, I always believe that this is a profession, and, it's a profession that I grew up in watching, and I might be, to be honest with you, I see it coming back a little bit more right now.
Okay.
I think people are seeing, I didn't even think Coach Richmond started to wear some sport coats this year and stuff like that. And, some suits, and he's not a tie guy, but I think you're going to start seeing it come back. Those guys are making a lot of money at that next level, and I think when those college coaches start bringing it back, you'll see it trickle back into the high school game a little bit too. It comes and goes. So
who picks the ties for it? Is that you or somebody else picking that?
I always have to ask my wife, and then she'll say, "Ask your daughter," because they know what's going on. So I send pictures to my middle daughter quite a bit. She's like, "Yeah, that looks good." So.
Oh man. Last thing before I let you go about being in this game. I always think this is the night. This is the biggest night, and it's the hardest one to win. You agree with that?
It is.
And why is that the case?
It's 100%. It's so hard to win this game, and it's just because there's a lot of pressure in the semifinal night, and everybody wants to play for a state title, and nobody wants to play in the third place game, and and so everybody's going to give everything that they got tonight, and and we look forward to this moment tonight against a team that we know very well, and they know us very well, and so. I hope there's a big crowd and people will get out and watch and have some fun tonight.
I know there's going to be a ton of people watching. Thanks so much for doing this, bud. I appreciate it. Good luck tonight, okay?
Yeah. Thanks, Dom. We'll talk to you later.
Great to see you. There he goes, Bart Manson, Fargo Davies, the only coach the Eagles have ever had, boys basketball head coach. It's Davies taking on West Fargo. That's the first semifinal. He makes a great point about that because I know Davies has been in this spot many a time. Bart's had some dynamite teams. I'll look back that 2019 team that lost to Jamestown in the championship. And they got a battle. They won their semifinal game and got to the title. And I think everybody on this side of the state thought, well, Davies is gonna win. They've got, they had Mason's older brother Jaden was playing on that team, Claybo, and they're gonna, okay, Jamestown's a great story. They're unbeaten, but Davies is the bigger school, and Jamestown dominated that game. And Davies had other great teams. They've made it to the semifinal and not got over the hump. And this is going to be a battle here. This is the fourth time they're playing West Fargo this season. They beat them twice during the regular season, and the Packers got them last Thursday in the EDC semis. So should be dynamite to watch. That comes up tonight. Cullen Holt and Zach Dosh will have the call of that beginning at 6:30 on WDAY. We'll take a final break. We'll come back. We'll get you ready for a packed Friday and a huge weekend. It's going to be 70 degrees, folks. Get out there and enjoy it because it'll be 20 tomorrow. We'll wrap up Hot Mic after this.